Cheerio, brave adventurer. It is I, Dave Makes Noises, the Gene Ween of D&D Storytime on YouTube. We're glad to have you with us today. Now, please, settle in, get nice and comfy as we ask you, what is your absolute favorite thing that happened to a player character or non-player character? Part 1. We were playing Werewolf the Apocalypse. I'm playing a lupus, werewolf that is a wolf that transforms into a human, child of Gia. I'm playing it as a hippie wolf whose great philosophy on life is that everything in life can be broken down into 3 categories. Things you eat, things you bite but don't eat, and things you nip at playfully. We've been playing for about a year when, during an infiltration, the matter of my character's sex comes up in the disguise department. One of the characters hands my character the female uniform, and I ask why they did that, as my character is male. It turns out that everyone thought my character was female, and what's more, I am male, so this isn't just a case of confusing player and character gender. After a minute or two of talking, it appears that I am the only one who thought my character was male, including the GM/storyteller. So, I, with a flourish at the table, pick up my pencil and add a fee to the front of my gender on the character sheet and announce to the table, due to popular opinion, Starfall is now and has always been female. TLDR, I willingly had my gender chosen by consensus at the table mid-game. So, in my D&D campaign, a character had a cat. Pretty normal. The PC happened to find a headband of intellect, which gives any creature that wears it an intelligence of 19. You can guess what happens next. So the party now has a hyper-intelligent cat, but it gets better. The party finds a helm of telepathy in a chest. They placed the cat in the helmet, so the cat telepathically talked to the PCs. The cat is now a full member of the party and helps with puzzles. In a campaign I am currently playing, we have a goblin named Bobby, who we sort of kidnapped from a village of goblins, and we agreed to pay him 1 silver every fortnight, but here comes the good part. He doesn't know what silver is. So we gave him acorns and random junk we had. He was annoying, like so annoying, my character, a kobold eldritch knight monster dude, hated him, but sort of a love-hate relationship. The most favorite thing that happened to him was when he was screaming while we were trying to hide from a bunch of woodwoads. So my character punched him, non-lethal, but rolled a nat 20. He was knocked out cold, so we stuffed him in a bag and just carried him around the place. I know that doesn't seem like such a favorite thing, but after having to deal with this character for ages, it felt so good to knock him out and stuff him in a bag. So it's actually what happened to my character. Nothing bad, it just shows how lucky I am / how I just know how to make a good fighting character. My character practically single-handedly killed a slightly modified werebeing. Modified was so it was just resistance to the 3 main damages, but the thing is, it was a level 2 party. I was a blood hunter, and 2 sessions after that, I had to retire them because they were too OP just because of a 16 AC. And my current character is well able to get a 21 AC by using their turn to cast mage armor and being a bladesinger wizard. Sure, a low hit die, but they can just be a tank that doesn't have to worry much about saving throws at level 5. In a session a while ago, one of our party members was cursed. Don't remember what the curse did, and soon after he had the curse transferred to our gunslinger. During the transfer, the curse changed, and now our gunslinger can only speak in 1-word sentences. Hasn't happened yet, but I can't wait to try it out. So I just joined a Pathfinder campaign, the Rise of the Rune Lords adventure path. I myself am playing Shazri, an orc war priest of Akuma. Now, one thing to note about Shazri before we continue is this. He is 396 pounds of pure muscle packed into a 7'11" body. He is purposely just inside the range of medium creatures. The only other party member that matters for this is the alchemist, Bartholomew. I don't recall the exact details of his class, but I do know this. Bartholomew can basically Hulk out and reach a maximum strength score of 29, which results in him having the ability to pick up the aforementioned Shazri with ease. You can probably see where this is going. Now, the last piece of the puzzle people need to know about is the common idea of the fastball special. Commonly used with gnomes or halflings, the idea is really simple. Throw the small creature or person at an opponent. Well, in this case, the small creature isn't so small. It's Shazri. You know, a nearly 400-pound slab of raw power. And thus, we have dubbed the maneuver the Orbital Drop Shock Orc, or, if you like acronyms and like Halo, the ODSO. Just 1 week, and we get to see how this will actually work. In my son's homebrew campaign, my character died after rolling a nat 1 against the big bad evil guy, who then used an ability to break her soul chain and force her soul into this orb that absorbed souls. It's his world, man. I just play in it, LOL. When the other players killed the big bad evil guy, or at least this version of him anyway, they then shattered the orb and my character's soul returned to her body. However, because her soul chain was broken and infested with a portion of the big bad evil guy's soul, she was going to die anyways, unless she managed to rid herself of this portion of the BBEG's soul somehow. But now she would always be able to see this chain that basically comes out of her chest, and she can't do anything about it. However, the person who told her about soul chains and the magic behind them also told her that because of how her chain had been severed, she would be able to use it to give herself random abilities once per short rest. For example, if she touches the end of the chain to wood, her body takes on a wooden appearance and she gains +4 AC for 2 rounds. Also, she takes half damage from all attacks and she doesn't feel any pain. So far, she's discovered a few special abilities with this weird magic. In addition to the effects of touching it to wood, she's found that if she touches the chain to metal, she can literally become Metal Mario and walk underwater. And if she touches it to lava, she turns into a fucking lava monster that does fire damage with every melee attack. However, she very much loves being on and around the water, having discovered at a young age that she wanted to be a sailor and feels most free when on or around the water. It turns out that water is her soul element, and therefore the effects of the soul magic last much longer and are more powerful when she touches her soul chain to water. She can swim at a speed of 80 feet, and since she's multi-classed into monk, this means that in a single turn, she can dash as an action as well as a bonus action if she burns a key point, making her single turn swim speed 240 feet. Her body becomes water and gives her immunity to all non-magical physical damage, and the effects last for 4 turns instead of just 2. Basically, she can outswim Michael Phelps for 24 seconds, LOL. Not a bad compensation prize for dying, eh? My daughters and I were playing some homebrew D&D in a world I had based around the webcomic 8-Bit Theater. They were in the process of going to the extremely xenophobic land of Elfland, seriously, from the comic, by literally being blasted there by a giant cannon. Thing is, they were shot extremely high into the air, so they had a lot of time before they hit ground. The elves, discovering this, employed their own giant cannon, with actual giants for ammunition. The giants were enchanted to explode violently if touched by anything that wasn't itself, including the ground. Fortunately, the giant didn't actually hit them, and they all three had a nice heart-to-heart conversation as they fell. The giant's dreams, what he had accomplished before being pressed into such lethal servitude, things like that. My youngest daughter's character, a ranger if memory serves, managed to make a solid, almost soulmate-level friendship with this giant during their descent. The giant, tears in his eyes, touched his heart and said,
"Little one, you have inspired me so. When we land, you and I will go off and away from all this death and destruction. We will work to heal the hurts of the world. You have touched my heart, little..."
Bang! Giant guts everywhere. Spells were quite literal in Elfland. If anything touches the giant that is not the giant, it will explode. Managed to break both the character and the player with that one. The look of mixed horror, shock, and just plain soft-voiced "no" made it so worthwhile. On my previous campaign, there was a fun little NPC named John living in a happy city. That is, until the party came in. The party had accidentally caused a complete switcheroo in the tide of a large war between 2 big nations. One nation was very pro-slavery while the other had abolished it long ago. It resulted in one of the nation's 7 wizard leaders being caught, and we're brought to John's city for public execution. The party felt bad about causing the pro-slave country to win the war, so they got the brilliant idea of freeing the wizards. John happened to be one of the people guarding the wizards. So what happened was that the party set one part of the city on fire, as you do, and once the guards were gone, they went into the dungeons. There they found John, guarding the wizards, but instead of killing him, they knocked him out. While the party was releasing the wizards, John woke up and managed to stealthily sneak away. Shortly after being released, most of the wizards teleported away, but 2 of them stayed so they could get their revenge. The 2 wizards started wreaking havoc on the city, destroying many buildings and killing many people, including everyone in John's family except his son. The party saw this as a no-no and cast silence on the 2 wizards, who now couldn't do any spells because they didn't have material components and were stuck on a tall rooftop. The party managed to capture the 2 wizards just after they were released. After releasing the wizards, the party presented the 2 wizards to the king, getting all the glory and being hailed as the glorious heroes. After that, they went to help with the aftermath and found John's only remaining family member, his son. When they figured out that he's his son, they remembered that John escaped, so proceeded to kidnap the son and went searching for John. They found John in the courtroom. He had told the king that the party was responsible, and because the party was the heroes of the city, they were given a proper trial. And it did not go well for John, who, after a few good deception and persuasion rolls from the party, was to be publicly executed. Once again, the party felt bad, so they decided to free John, which they did after a lot of chaos, reunited him with his son, and gave them a few slaves so they could leave the city and become rich through slave trade. It did not end here, though. As the party managed to create a revolution and became the temporary leaders of the country, they did many good deeds, such as end the war and outlaw slavery. John is now wanted dead for causing the deaths of many people and the destruction of a large part of a large city, as well as for slave trade. TLDR, party blames a random guard for their actions, caused the deaths of pretty much his whole family, and made him and his son outlaws by freeing him before his execution and giving him slaves just before the party outlawed slavery. Hello again, my friend, and thank you for joining us here at Rip Daddy's Cozy Winter Mountain Getaway Retreat Experience. We are so glad to have you here with us today, and thank you for joining us to the very end of the video. Real quick, just wanted to remind you to please check out our subreddit, r/MrRipper. It's where we source most of the stories we've been sharing on the channel and the home of our dear and darling community. If you're a DM or a player looking for a group, Mr. Ripper's Group Finder Discord server has got your fix. Come join us over there and find some friends to do math with today. If you want to join us on our live 5th edition homebrew campaign, we'd love to see you over at twitch.tv/fireanddice, where we'll be bringing you some F&D every Saturday from 5 to 9 p.m. Pacific time. If you're here for the stories and the stories alone, join us every Sunday at twitch.tv/MrRipperStream, where we hang out, talk to chat, often have a refreshing beverage, and tell some hand-selected stories from our subreddit. If you're struggling emotionally this week, I hope you remember that you never have to walk that winding road alone. Just self-care the best you can, and if you can avoid keeping it bottled up, please do. It's healthy to let it out, and just let it be what it is. You never know, maybe someone else has been there too. If you enjoyed hearing me geek out, there is daily geeking out to be found on my TikTok and on my Instagram. Please consider giving me a follow. It will bring me so much joy, and I think/hope you'll enjoy it as much as I do. Thank you again for watching. Please sub for Nat 20s. Ding that dong for advantage on your next ability check. We love you here at Rip Daddy's Cozy Winter Mountain Vacation Getaway Retreat Experience. Be well, and we look forward to seeing you next time.